is Tamsin Astor, your friendly habit scientist, and today I wanted to talk to you about eating. As you can hear, my door is open to my porch. It's wonderful. The sun is shining, the birds are tweeting, and I've just eaten my lunch outside. And I cooked a delicious plant-based meal in 8 minutes or less. Salad, some sautéed seitan and broccoli, lots of spices, a little bit of rice, a little bit of fresh herbs from the garden, some lemon juice. Delicious, really quick, really easy, filled me up, nourished me after I went to the gym this morning. It was all good. So I know what it's like. I have 3 kids who have, for a chunk of their childhood, had the standard American diet of, far too much processed food and food that comes out of boxes and food that is very appealing because it calls to our taste buds, like the mac and cheese out of the box and all that crap. So as I've shifted my kids more towards a plant-based diet, I came up against some issues. So one of the issues I had was fear on my part that I would constantly be making food that the kids didn't like. Secondly, boredom. It would just be really boring. Like, who wants to eat just plants? It's really boring. And the third, that it would just take up too much time. And who has the time to do that? So one of the first things I really worked on with my kids was this issue around flavour. I got them engaged and involved. So opening up the spices and sniffing them themselves, walking down the aisles in the grocery store and looking at all the different colours of the foods and the beans and the different kinds of grains that we could buy, walking around our local farmer's market and picking up all these different things. What is this? Where does this come from? What does this taste like? What does it smell? So really getting involved in the sensory experience and then getting them into the kitchen and cooking with me. The other way I also cultivated that sensory experience was looking through recipe books with them. And my 12-year-old son absolutely loves that book, Eat Like You Give an F, The Thug Kitchen, because not only is it peppered with cheeky words, but it also has really fun recipes that he's been inspired to create from. The second is, when you shift to this diet, you really have to change your mindset. You have to start looking at your meals and planning them around plants, right? We're often in the West, we're very much what's the word I'm looking for? Pushed to frame our food. That's not really the right word, but you know what I mean. Pushed to frame our food around a chunk of protein or an enormous chunk of processed carbs. So you think pasta and you think steak and you think salmon and what I'm asking you to do is throw that out the window and start with plants. Think broccoli and avocado, or portobello mushroom, or asparagus, or lettuce, kale, spinach, tomatoes, carrots, right? There are so many delicious vegetables, sweet potatoes. So start your meal planning around vegetables, not around a protein or carb. That's one of the first shifts. And again, look at it. Try something new. Think about things that excite and inspire you, right? Tastes are awesome. Sensory experience, awesome. Cultivate that engagement. The third thing is to experiment. Now, I know when you first start cooking in a different way, it can be really nerve-wracking because you look at all these things, and often as well, when you have had a very process-based or very meat and animal fat-based diet, vegetables might taste bland to you until you start cultivating a taste for them. So one of the ways to work with that is to really get excited about the spices and the flavors, right? So working around maybe an Italian theme of tomatoes and oregano and olive oil and balsamic vinegar. You can roast vegetables with all these things. Delicious, like garbanzo beans and sweet potatoes roasted with olive oil and balsamic vinegar. Or around an Asian theme of sesame oil or coconut oil and lemongrass and garlic and soy sauce. Or around a more Indian flavored, right? So there's lots of different things that you can get involved in here and get excited about. And then experiment. And don't worry if it fails, right? As Thomas Edison said, I've not failed. I found 10,000 ways that it didn't work. So don't worry about failing. That's a great lesson to learn for yourself. Well, those flavors really didn't go well together. And also for your kids or your spouse, like everybody you live with and engage with. It's a good thing to learn how to fail and then look back and think, well, maybe I should have added it then. Like fresh herbs. Like you don't want to cook your soup and your spices, your food with fresh herbs all the way through because they lose their flavor, right? In the way that dried herbs, totally different, right? The flavor is more concentrated. You can put them in earlier in your cooking, right? So these are the kinds of things that you can experiment with and learn. And that's fun, and that's a good lesson, right? The people who succeed in life are the ones who are comfortable with failing and looking at where things didn't work and learning from their mistakes. So, how to eat like you give an F. 1, get excited about the flavors, get excited about the sensory experience, involve everybody in that part. 2, base your meals around plants. Start your meal with the plant. Number 3, experiment. Don't be afraid of messing it up. Just give it a shot. What have you got to lose? Thanks for watching. Tamsin Astor.